Man, you already know, man.
For all the fans and shit, this is my sidekick, man, my road dog, my ace one, man. Uh, Real to real radio, man. And I am Awkward Beginnings, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, we are a team. We collab on a lot of shit, you know what I mean? And we coming to y'all to talk about the didler, you know what I'm saying?
The masquerade is over.
The masquerade is now over. All right, Leaf. Now, a lot of people would like to say that the P Diddy didn't really start this shit um, to after his run with Biggie and Craig Mack and some of the famous groups that were on Bad Boy. What would you say about that?
Yeah, man, I don't know why it's echoing all of a sudden.
Uh, I don't know. It sounds good. It sounds good to me.
So is that on my end or your end?
It's probably on your end. I put mine. Did you put your phone on Do Not Disturb?
Nah.
Put it on Do Not Disturb, so no nothing to come in and interrupt the live.
But on airplane mode?
I think you could put it on either Do Not Disturb or airplane mode to work. I think. I think either or would be cool. You got it, Lee.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Man, airplane mode ain't it. So,
So
um,
would you put it on Do Not Disturb?
no, I ain't put it on nothing. I just had to turn airplane mode back on. I mean, turn that off.
Okay.
Um, I don't know why it was doing that, man. But it wasn't an echo, it was a delay. So when you said that whole sentence, it replayed that back, but late,
All
you
right.
know?
Like I was saying that people would like to say that P Diddy didn't do this child molestation or this freak shit until after Biggie was gone. But I would like to beg to differ. I think P Diddy has been doing this stuff for a long time because of the lifestyle that he was born into. You know what I'm saying? From
Right.
the research that we did, right? The things that he does, the things that he was doing to all of these people,
That's learned behavior.
yeah, he that was done to him. And they say hurt people, you know what I'm saying?
Right, right, correct.
And
That can happen.
that's what I believe. From him going to the private schools where the priests were accused for molesting the kids and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
That's not a rumor. They try to say that that's a rumor, but we got firsthand research that we done to show that it happened right there at the school that he went to, and the priest, the main priest that,
during the time that he was going to school there.
right, yeah, right,
And it happened with black boys. Now he was going to
and
school with the Italians too. Now
right,
you can't leave that out. It wasn't just it wasn't an all black private school. There actually was the minorities of that school, and the majority might have been Armenian, Italian, Sicilian. Um, you know, it
Puerto
wasn't.
Ricans.
Well, no, probably a few It was some Puerto Ricans in that school.
Hmm.
There's not to mention it was a Roman Catholic school. So naturally he's not a Christian.
And he
He's a,
and he damn
he's a
sure not
Catholic. He's a
Jewish.
Roman Catholic. He's a Roman
Um,
Catholic. And it sounds crazy when you hear any brothers or sisters say that they're Catholics. I
right,
met a
especially
archbishop.
especially Roman Catholic.
Well, I met a black archbishop, right? When I was younger,
Hmm.
I did a little time when I was younger, man, and they had a we had to go to church at some point in time, and um, the brother that met with us was an archbishop, you know.
What a
So
coincidence, huh?
I mean, yeah. So it's like we didn't gravitate towards them because naturally, all of us that was there at that place, we weren't that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, most of the families that I know about where I come from, you come from, they're Baptist,
Hmm.
Christian, Jehovah's.
Jehovah Witness, maybe
But
Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
very few. I can't say that I was raised with any Catholics.
Right.
I met them later on in life, or like I said, through the situation when I was younger. But I don't I don't recall any of my peers being that were brothers. You know what I'm saying? Or sisters. Now my Hispanic brothers, my brown brothers,
Right.
some of them are Catholic, Virgin Mary and all that. But
Right.
that's a lot of them that's Catholic versus a
Hmm.
few of us as Catholic. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and a lot of them scandals that happen with them churches, with them priests, are the Roman Catholic churches, right?
Yep.
So, but however, it happens with a lot of the priests, a lot of the
Hmm.
pastors. TD Jakes is being pulled into this.
A lot
You
of
know,
people.
TD Jakes is one of the biggest ones, one of the biggest names that's being brought into, and he's probably one of the quietest ones right now. A lot of them are quiet though, believe it or
Yeah.
not. You
Hey,
know,
that school, that school that he went to, was that an all boys school?
mm-hmm. All boys private school.
And
So he may his defense may end up being that because he been saying he needed help. He said he had issues in the public, but he didn't tell the people what type of issues he had, and that may be something he may touch up on because
I,
some of them victims are still being compensated in today's time from 30 years ago.
they may spend a whole year just chasing down victims. What you
Yeah,
think?
but now I believe that they already chased down a lot of victims. The victims chased them down. But what happens when they saying one lawyer said that they're gonna bringing entities into this equation, so like companies and stuff like that. Well, Puff is he's a victim of an entity of
Hmm.
one of the biggest entities, man, in our society is a church, and the church he belonged to was they're over 200 years old.
Yeah, and
So
it was
they're
like
not no new entity. They've been around for a long, long time.
nah. The church he went to was like one of those Roman
Yeah,
diocese
but
churches.
that one particularly, the Merritt brothers, I believe was what they're referred to. They've been around for. 200 something years.
And they've been touching on kids for most of that time.
You
You
know,
know what I'm saying?
so um, he, he may bring them into that. They
What
may
kind
get
of?
brought up.
Now go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking they may get brought into that because it goes back to what you said earlier about um, hurt people,
Right.
and he hurt hundreds of maybe thousands of people allegedly, right?
Hmm.
Now allegedly he may have been hurt,
I know.
and the
We
people that
know.
hurt
We
him
know.
hurt
We know for
now. They
sure
they
he
hurt
was.
a lot. They hurt a lot of people to themselves for
Right.
how long they've been around. Um, it's just interesting, man, to how everything is gonna come down to the come down,
Right.
knowing that he's not the only one involved, even from his time to before his time. You know what I mean? If they're gonna go back, to 91, right? What about in 1987 when he just graduated high school or was about to graduate and all this stuff came out about the molestation in the school and stuff like that, right? Now,
Right.
87 ain't far from 91. I don't quote me on this, but I believe right before um he got in, he got into the business. There was a show that happened, and
Hmm.
a lot of people lost their lives. And
Well,
that
hey,
was around that was
did
around 89, 90, I want to say. I have to look it up. But that wasn't too far after he graduated high school and was going to college because he was in college when that
oh
did
yeah, I
happen.
remember that.
Yeah, that was a show. It was overcrowded. It was a big show, some big
People
names.
people got stampeded and stuff.
Right, because it was what it was they were so thirsty on the cash that the show was like $20 a ticket. And they had big names that was gonna be like Heavy D. Um it was big names for that time period. Maybe Big Daddy Kane. Just different big names of that time period was gonna be a part of that show. Matter of fact, I'll tell you right now, because I got my other phone on me, man.
Hmm.
I'm gonna find because Google, man, people they don't like Google because depending on what you ask Google, she's a
Google know
cold
it all,
wench.
man.
She a cold wench.
Yep.
She's before Siri.
Yep. Way
So
before.
so I'm gonna ask her,
Google is like our library, man. Like
when did the
back in our
show
days.
happen that Puff Daddy did that a lot of people lost their life?
Was it that fire show that that Ja Rule was involved with, where he got all those people and he got all those people to that fucking island, and they said it was like a catastrophe. They called it the fire show or something like that.
Uh
And P Diddy might have been one of the
so
investors.
no, it said it was a stampede at a basketball game that resulted in the deaths of 7 people. It
Damn.
said so let's see here. Says the incident happened. Combs was a promoter of a celebrity basketball game sponsored by the City College students. So my bad. It wasn't Big Daddy Kane, Heavy D, none of them. It was
Mm.
going to be performers there. Um, but I have to dig a little deeper to see what performers was going to be there that night performing because it was going to be some performances there.
Mm.
And it said the event was crowded and thousands were turned away. Some tickets holders were allowed in, but others were not. And a stampede ensued. The victims were trampled in front of a locked door near the gym entrance. Now the thing was, man, that the reason why that stampede happened because the ticket sales were so cheap
That they
that people
started just letting people in probably
yeah,
afterwards.
they stopped letting people in, and people were like, man, I paid for my ticket, let me in. So it just started a whole stampede because you know how people feel when they pay for something, they
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want to exercise their right.
Yep. And then, like, if you get your money back, you got to probably wait 6 months for it. You know what I'm saying? But that, so you think that might have been like the first
That was. It
P
said
Diddy like
right
crooked?
now. I'm looking at it right now, and it said this was the first his first scandal was that Stampede. You know,
Since
and
did did he face the law for that? You think?
that was in 1991. So it's like, okay, they're going back to 1991
Uh,
for all the allegations and what's going on right now. But is he paying for what happened when all them seven lives lost their life that night? It was
mm,
December 28th of 1991 to be exact. Said it was a
dang.
cold Saturday night. The city was still dressed up in the decorations that seemed a little depressing after Christmas. I was a new reporter at New York Newsday. This is a report I'm about to read from. It's an aggressive offshoot of the Long Island paper, which was just more than halfway through its 10-year lifespan, and it was my fate work of Saturday nights. Let me see, blah blah blah. It said once an hour I checked the VCPI on this day, and I remember the number 212 610 2700 to see if anything was happening. Some of the cops were friendly and we chatted, others were not. Okay, get to the story. So this somebody's telling a story about their account of that night.
Mm.
The actual reporter. Okay.
He's speaking on like the things that actually happened that night, the
Yeah.
encounter. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, it says yeah, this person recounting their night and they said somehow, somewhere they got a phone call. And this is a reporter. They said there was 7 people dead, maybe more. And it was
Ooh.
a celebrity basketball game. The organizers were some guy called Puff Daddy. That's
Mm.
when I first heard the name. Jimmy had more details. All kinds of hip hop stars were supposed to be there. So it was supposed to be hip hop based. And the event was sponsored by the city college student and government. The victims had been trapped in the front of the locked door near the gym entrance. Thousands had been turned away, leading to a riot. It was so crowded that police couldn't get inside. Other New York Newsday reporters started calling it the filling in the blanks. Some tickets holders had been let in, others were stared away, and a stampede eventually pressed their nose in front of the against the door. So the
Wow.
stampede happened, man, because people were mad they weren't having that, bro. And that's messed
Mm.
up because they didn't know the way that gym door was. I seen a video of it. The doors pushed in, but there was people on the other side of the door. So the people that was on the outside pushed in the people on the inside that were
Damn.
behind the door already in there in the hallway in a
So they
confined
got
space, bro.
so they got stumped to death.
They got pushed in by the doors, man.
Wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yep. It said eventually they pressed against the front of the doors, op- only open outward. It was a plane crash without a plane, says Senior
Wow.
Collins. One of the first EMTs to arrive, there were bodies all over. Police calling for help. I did my best to construct a coherent narrative from the few facts that facilitated and the rumors flying my way. I referred to the promoter as Puff Daddy. We didn't get this full name, Sean Combs, in the first day's story.
Wow.
So, and now this was the headline of that paper that day was let me see if I could put up here. This was a headline that day of the paper.
Wow.
So that was the first scandal, man.
Did anybody actually go to jail from that?
Nope.
Wow. Hey, you know what I want to you know what I want to say too? What do you think about the allegations that they say that all right, Kim his wife Kim Porter supposedly wrote a tell-all book about P Diddy, and they said that like in her memoirs she wrote, if something happens to me during the process of putting out these memoirs, P Diddy has something to do with it. Do you think that's true, or do you think that the people that finished off her book put that in there, added that to it?
Oh no, I was right, bro. It said, listen, it said, hold on one second. It said, in addition to the 9 young people who died,
Wow,
29 were injured, some badly. Officials cited the lack of planning and the failure to hire enough security guards as both contributing to the disaster. They blamed numerous
wow,
organizers and participants, including crowd members, as well as Combs, described as hip hop producer, the rapper Heavy D, and the City University of New York. So I knew Heavy D was involved with it. So I was right about that. Heavy D was involved with that, man.
wow, that's crazy, bro.
A report prepared for the office, then Mayor David N. Dickens said Mr. Combs spent little time making the actual preparations for the game and delegated most of, not all, of the arrangements to Lewis Tucker and Tara Getter, both of whom claimed to have no prior experience with such events.
Whoa,
But none of the action of those involved rose to the level of criminality, and no charges were filed in time. Oh, say, and no charges were filed in time. Combs would reach out, of course, settlements, sentencing are stemming from civil suits filed by the families of the victims, testifying in one suit in 1998, by which point he had a series of hit singles from a breakthrough album. Combs said, City College is something I deal with every day of my life. He started going by P. Diddy in 2001. I didn't know anything that as I drove home to Brooklyn that night, but I do remember thinking, man, this Puffy guy can't have much of a future after this.
wow.
And he really didn't, bro, because you figure from 91 to just recently, is time's up.
91?
So,
Nah, you got to think, man. He had a big run, man, with Bad Boy. He had a major run. You
yeah,
got to
but
think.
this,
Well,
but much of a future though.
all of his groups, they were like, it's like they put out one album and they left Bad Boy. Every group that he had did one album and they realized that they were in a screwed up deal and they left.
Right, right.
From Craig Mack, Total. Uh,
And it's really crazy, bro, because I'm gonna just hate to cut you off, but when promoters throw shows and people lose their life, they usually do get charged criminally for that, man.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nobody went to jail for that.
Mm.
And you say how many lives were took? Like 9 lives were taken.
9 lives, 29 people injured, 9 people died.
Wow. Yeah. See, I would have thought somebody would have had hell to pay for that, man.
Nah, nah.
That is crazy. 9 lives and nobody went to jail. You know what that sounds like to me? Somebody had some good lawyers in there. You know what I'm saying? And shit,
Right.
he could still get charged for it though. You know what I'm saying? You know how the feds work. They
Mm-hmm.
might, they might throw that in on on his charges. You know what I'm saying? The feds look how long it took for them to get Keefe D. 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
But even you said that the feds don't have no fucking time clock. They'll wait to shit 40, 50 years to get you.
Mm-hmm. They've been waiting, bro.
Yep. Well, hey, what do you think when they say? What do you think about what they say about him maybe being brought in on the Tupac murder, like him maybe being like the main suspect in the Tupac's murders, not actually pulling the trigger, but maybe putting the head out.
Well, it goes to what Chiefy D was speaking on, man. He said that they owed him some money for that, man. He never got the check of $1 million.
Yeah,
If they just
you know what they said happened to that check though, right?
nah,
They say that Puffy, it actually wasn't a check. They said that Puffy had a guy named Zip that worked for him back in the days that did a lot of his street work.
right.
Now, supposedly, he gave the $1 million to him so he couldn't have no attachments to it to give to Keefy D. But
Mm,
but he kept the money and bought a club with it.
right.
Now, at the time, Keefy D was working for the police.
Mm,
If you watch that documentary that they put out called Unsolved, Keefy D, they were trying to give him a life sentence for getting caught with PCP. So they put a wire on him to try to catch P Diddy back in the day. So they had flew him all the way to New York with a wire on him, and he was supposed to meet that dude Zip to get that $1 million. But Zip was smart. He must have knew that nigga had the recorders on him. He never showed up at the
all
spot
right,
they
now
were
this
supposed
is
to meet at.
I found it. I've been looking, bro. I found a clear story of it from then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says 9 young people died in a crowd stampede in New York City, December 28th, 1991. The event was a charity basketball game headlined by hip hop stars Heavy D and Puff Daddy. Shortly
Wow.
after 6 p.m., according to the eyewitness accounts, the crowd outside the City University of New York broke at least one of the glass doors, separating them from the building's lobby. Despite the presence of at least 66 New York City police officers, 38 City College campus security officers, and 20 private security guards hired by the event's promoters, the crowd was able to surge through those doors and rush into the building shortly after 7 p.m. When the event finally got underway, once inside the lobby, the crowd rushed down a short set of stairs leading to the gymnasium. At the
Mm,
bottom of those stairs, however, were four swinging doors. Three of them closed that opened not into the gymnasium but into the stairwell. While the
mm,
3,000 strong crowd surged, damn, 3,000 people, bro, surged forward. Obviously, those people who reached the stairwell first were caught in a crush that would leave 8 dead on the scene and
wow.
29 others injured. One of them whom later died of her injuries at St. Luke's Hospital. So 9 people, but 8 died on the spot. One
I
died at
say,
the hospital.
if you ask me, I think P Diddy should have been directly charged with that, dog.
Right,
And I think he should have been the main co-conspirator to be charged for for those murders. 'Cause who else do you charge?
right,
Because
right.
it ain't like the feds that just let something like that go away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm. And the History Channel just put this out, bro, and they just did this recently, man. So everybody got their hands on dude, man, and his background, his history. That's what it's about right now, man. Um, he has a trail, man. But you know what I found out though, is
Uh huh.
that money, man, money comes with a trail, man.
Yeah. And money make people forget stuff too.
Hmm.
I bet
Yeah,
you.
for a short period of time.
But damn, did P Diddy have that kind of money in '91?
Well, he was already going to New York University of New York, so that might have
And
played
he
a role in it,
and he was working for Clyde Davis too at the time.
right? He had money because he was a privileged nigga. If you just anybody couldn't go to private school,
Yeah, that shit probably was expensive as hell, man.
hmm
That shit probably like 50, 60,000 a year, probably. maybe more.
Privileged nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, his daddy left him some money, you know. Um,
His daddy made left him some dirty money at that.
oh well, just some legit money too, because his daddy was in the Air Force.
Right. That's I mean that's a check. That's probably a check every month. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But that ain't like I can retire type money.
Yeah, but military, they get certain type of benefits if a spouse passes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that other one is left with benefits, man. You know what I mean? The
It's
spouse.
not like
So
that. It's not like that fast life money. It's probably a check every month. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but you don't know how far. You don't know like his complete background, far as um where his mom been in life. She probably somebody too. You know what I mean?
Right.
She just ain't nobody. She just ain't anybody. You know what I mean?
I know Clyde Davis invested into him a lot too, you know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Because check this out. His dad passed away before he was able to go to school. So his mom had to have some type of wherewithal to put him in that type of school and have him around them type of people, man.
Man, for real. And look, to
Um,
get in one of those schools, it ain't easy. It ain't easy for just any kid out of Harlem with money to
no.
just get in those schools. You gotta have like some prestigious background. They say that a lot of New York actors and judges and stuff, their kids went to that school. So you had to
Mm,
be some kind of celebrity parent or something like
some
that.
type of prestige to your family, right? Some type of
Right.
right, right. You just ain't anybody coming in there. Yeah, man.
They say, look, Gene Deal says that in some of those parties that P Diddy was having, there were a lot of politicians at that party. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And P Diddy was blackmailing them. You know what I mean? Afterwards, after the parties and stuff, letting them know that.
Yeah, but you know what happened when you go up against a machine like that, man? They gonna roll over you. That's what they just did. They just crushed his $1 billion status like you ain't shit. With no holdups. That lets you know, man. How long does your paper got to be, man, before you're untouchable?
Hey, hey, what do you think when people say that P Diddy will commit suicide? Do you think that will happen?
That's crazy, man. Because it's some truth to that. Um, I know when my pops went in and they hit him with 20 years. He told me he contemplated it. They had him on suicide watch. Which that's what anybody um, that know that they may be in there for the rest of their life. You don't think through suicide crosses their mind?
Yeah, that crosses the mind of a lot of people, man.
You
Especially
know,
somebody unstable, and then they dropping all these charges on you. They're letting you know that you may be in there for the rest of your life, man. Think about it. You used to eat motherfucking roof Chris, and used to go spend nights at these motherfucking $20,000 a night suites and shit. Now you got to
right?
wake up in the cell the size of a kitchen, you know what I'm saying, or a bathroom. That may
It's
make a
all
motherfucker
bad.
want to change it, take his life.
Hmm.
That could. It says, look, it says right here that P Diddy needs to give Feds a big name. Who's bigger than him though? Who could he give up besides maybe a
Well,
politician? But who
that's
could?
why that's why that's why I showed you that video earlier, man. There's all kind of the dude said this, man. The lawyer said this. Whoever came to his party and
Uh
didn't intervene and allowed to go on what happened,
huh.
they're guilty by association, man. More or
But you
less.
you saying that they could get time too just by being
Yep. Yep.
like when you
Aiding and
say guilty
abetting.
by when you say guilty by association, do you mean like even like the guests maybe like the
Well,
people that
yeah,
were
well, because
invited?
what feds call it aiding and abetting.
aiding the betting, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
and
But I
there's
mean,
bigger names.
but at what point do you go from a guest to being a aider and a better? You know what I'm saying? Like there got to be like a thin
Well,
line
no, he's
between
saying that if
the.
this was the normal behavior of these parties, and he said of he had facilitators,
Hmm.
so his facilitators are guilty as charged. This is what the private lawyer is saying. He's saying he's ready to work with the feds on this.
Damn, but I don't think I don't think that there's anybody that's higher than him that he can pull in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
If you're
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
billionaire, you have to pull in. You have to pull in somebody that's a big deal, though, right?
Well, why was Oprah hanging there?
Oprah, true. They said Oprah house just got raided too.
Yeah,
They said
right.
her house just got raided 2 days ago, due to this P Diddy stuff.
Hmm. I'll fact check that, man. Um,
But
I
what would
know
they be
Oprah.
looking for? What would they be looking for at Oprah's house, though? I don't get that.
Well, Oprah's responsible for all them women, all them even women. They weren't even women; they were girls, young ladies. They
Wow.
came up. They got kidnapped at her private school in Africa.
Whoa.
See, yeah, people forget that, and they're not letting that go, man, because these girls, where they go to.
That's weird. Like, especially like, all right, like you got these people. They come from the hood. They come from Chicago. They come from Indiana. They come from these hard towns, and they go build a school
Was
in
Oprah's
Africa.
house raided?
Yeah, check. Yeah, fact check that. You see anything about that?
Somebody said they debunked it.
Hmm.
Um, mm, yeah, that's false.
You think so? Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, but I just heard that like the day before yesterday.
Yeah, they've been putting that stuff on Oprah since for some years now. I'm seeing 2020,
Oprah got big
2 months
money
ago. Yeah, but this is she's leaking from this stuff with the kids.
You think that was that serious?
Yeah,
Hmm. Wow. Uh, oh, look. Hey, I wanna play this. It says it talks about uh, Diddy's dad got murdered for being a rat. His killer held. They said his killer was the one scream. The person that killed him was at his dad's funeral, crying louder than anybody at the funeral. Ain't that just like a nigga though?
yeah, it's just how
Knock
it
you
usually
off,
goes too.
knock you off, and go to your funeral and cry louder than everybody. Cry louder than everybody
Hmm.
at the funeral, bro. That's crazy. All right, look, I'm gonna play this video where he talks about his father and shit. Let me know if you can hear it. This may be funny as hell.
I can hear it. Hold on, I gotta grab something, but I can hear it though. So
All
hold
right, hold
on.
on.
Go ahead and play it.
All right, this is on. All right, y'all. This is on.
Do you think Diddy would take some people down with him if he get arrested? Oh my man, come on. His daddy was a rat. Hold on, let me just. I know.
All right, y'all. We gonna go back to this. This is gonna be
Huh.
this is gonna be good, bro. You gonna like this, Leaf. All right, y'all. We gonna play some footage from Gene Deal, speaking about his father being like a humongous rat from Harlem that was part of a prestigious drug um, organization. I think they were called the Hangman or the no, the Lynch Mob. I think he was part of a drug organization called the Lynch Mob. I could be wrong. So anybody in the comments, if I'm wrong, put the right information in the comments. I'm a play this one as soon as Leaf get back.
Did you play? Oh shit, can't hear.
Yeah, I had it. I had it on mute. I was waiting for you to come back. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
All right. All right. This is Gene Deal. He speaks about P Diddy's father being a rat. We doing all right. We doing a little bit of history on P Diddy to give you guys an idea on the many faces of P Diddy, where he came from, where he get a lot of his mannerisms from, where some of his family came from, the era before him. This is giving you guys an idea of the man that we call Puff Daddy, P Diddy, the diddler. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna play this video by Gene Deal. This video was let's see, how many months ago was this? Yeah, this was 4 months ago, and this gives you an idea where P Diddy came from. His lineage. The people that bred him. You know what I'm saying? Because a part of P Diddy, you got to admit, he is a hell of a hustler. You know what I'm saying? But all hustlers ain't good hustlers. You know what I'm saying? And this basically tells you where he comes from. You know what I'm saying? You ready? You ready, Leaf?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let me turn this on real quick. All right, this is Gene Deal, y'all. This is gonna be pretty good. Do you think Diddy would take some people down with him if he get arrested? Oh my man, come on. His daddy was a rat. Hold on, let me just. I know this ain't got nothing to do with, but I'm gonna tell his story. It was this gangster, right? He said, when you go there, kill the father and kill his son. And the guy said, his son is only a baby, 4 years old. He said, his father was a rat, and he gonna grow up to be a rat too. It ain't no way that he gonna go down, you understand, and not take nobody with him. His father was murdered because he ratted out his team that he was working for. So you think he not gonna rat? Like father, like son, brother. That's what I believe. All right. Hey, so you believe from what he's saying that P Diddy dodged a bullet somehow he dodged a bullet from his father being killed? He maybe should have been killed too. What you think?
Well, uh, they say that saying, father like son.
Yep.
So figure it out.
Yes, sir. All right, hold on. All right, let me finish playing this. This is actually pretty damn funny. Wow, man, I didn't know that. So Diddy dad was a rat? My man, I had a conversation with New York Freddie. Omar took me to a meeting because New York Freddie wanted to talk to me. He said, yo, I've been trying to get in touch with Russell Simmons, and I've been trying to get in tough touch with Puff. Because I wanted to tell him the true story about his father. You understand? I said, yeah. Now this is New York Freddie, one of the biggest gangsters in Harlem. Puff's father used to work for his team. He was brought in by one of his best friends. So he's telling me the story how Russell Simmons used to work for him. You understand? He said, Russell Simmons used to take my laundry, to the cleaners and everything. He said, I had a glass table with $1 million in my office. I had $1 million in a glass table. Man, so you mean to tell me Russell Simmons was a liquor store runner too, nigga?
Mm-hmm.
That nigga was a liquor store runner. Hold on. All right, let me finish playing it.
You know what I'm saying? Of $100 bills in a glass tape. I said, yeah. He told me his whole stuff. He said, Russell Simmons used to work for me because I was starting a record label back then. I said, okay. And if you look up New York Freddie Myers, you can see when he was picked up with a whole lot of, he had stacks of money in his house in the basement in Mount Vernon. So he said to me, he said, yo, we had cops on the payroll. He gave a cop 10, one of the cops brought information. He had the paperwork and he had Puff Father take confession. He gave him 10,000 extra dollars for it, right? Puff Father told on their operation. New York Freddie told the guy who brought Puff Father into his crew, you gotta handle it. I want it handled. So then he said, I want it handled. So now the dude handled the situation. Puff Father was driving the cab. He met him on Central Park West and did what he did. And so I said to New York Freddie, I said, yeah? He said, and the guy who killed him was carrying the casket, crying the hardest at the funeral. I was like, oh. Now, check this out.
You hear that?
I was going to tell this
Mm-hmm.
story on my members only page on my YouTube channel, The Gene Deal Show. Only my members, hey, but I'm going to give it to you. It's this lady that told me she was dating Puff Father at the time, right? She was dating Puff Father at the time. She said she was waiting on him because they were supposed to be going out.
Is
To
that Puff
Smalls
or Puff
Paul.
Father?
Yeah,
It
that's
was
him.
Smalls Paul,
That's
she
Puff.
said.
Damn.
It was
When he was going to that school.
this place up there on McCombs
Damn.
Bridge. I got it because she texted this whole thing to me, bro.
Well, that
It's
nigga look
crazy
like a
how she
damn
texted me this
skeleton or
whole
something.
story. She
Right.
said that she never knew why Puff Father was killed. He said the word got through Harlem that he was murdered. You understand? And she went up to the bar the next day, and the same dudes was on his team that he worked with him, sold drugs with him. New York Freddie and their whole crew. He said they was in the bar laughing and talking like nothing had ever happened. She said, thank you, Gene, for telling me that story about New York Freddie and Diddy father, because now I know what happened to him. So Melvin Combs was a rat. And these guys, this came from
His father's
a
name was
gangster
Melvin Combs.
himself. You understand?
Sound like a rat
He had
stain.
police on the payroll. Crazy. And they had Diddy Dad on tape telling. He said they brought him the tape and the written statement. And then Puff Father was asked by the dude why he told. He said he had to go to a wedding and he didn't want to miss it.
You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I swear for living Jesus, man.
He
That shit was
told because
crazy.
he didn't want to miss
And that
a
was
wedding.
told to me by New York Freddie. My man Omar had took me to him because he wanted to sit down and talk to me.
Wow.
All right, so anybody that has a question if P Diddy would snitch or if he's going to snitch, that should tell you. That should tell you right there. That should be enough for you to know right there that if that nigga get under pressure, which there's a lot of pressure right now. He's in right now. They said that the feds has seized his homes, seized his home on Star Island, all of his mansions, the one in L.A., the one in Miami, and the one in New York. Right now, he's under a lot of pressure, and they said that if they're able to prove that he was doing like racketeering and money laundering stuff, they're going to seize his money. Then he's not going to be able to pay his lawyers.
Now
So,
look, check this out.
hmm
This is the New York Times of 1973. It says 7 men, 3 women were found guilty here yesterday of participation in an extensive conspiracy that distributed 5 million a year in heroin at the wholesale level in Harlem, Bronx, and Westchester County. The key defendant in the federal court trial was Willie Abram, 42-year-old bar manager identified as a conspiracy leader whose name is on police department list of 100 major narcotic violators in New York City. Another man on the police list was Nicholas Casolo Grande, was sentenced to 7 years in prison on an unrelated heroin selling charge Thursday in state Supreme Court in the Bronx. Abraham, who was sentenced to 5 years for selling heroin in 1963, now faces a mandatory minimum of 20 years to max of life in prison. Uh,
damn.
each of the other defendants in the conspiracy could face up to 15 years of prison when the sentence is imposed by Judge Frederick. Says, let me see. It says jury deliberated 10 hours. The 10 defendants were found guilty by a jury of 5 men and 7 women after 10 hours of deliberation that were spread over 2 days at the end of 7 week trial. W. Colin McDonald, the prosecutor, told Judge Bryan that the verdict, the detectives believed that the 1972 murder of Melvin Combs, a co-conspirator in the case, might
Whoa.
ultimately be the trace to members of the heroin distribution conspiracy. In breaking up the conspiracy, a heroin cutting mill and a conspirator's home were raided in the late 1971s after Combs had been arrested in possession of heroin and 45,000 in cash. The principal evidence in the trial included wiretaps and testimony by the federal agents who had maintained surveillance on the conspirators before arresting them. Agents testified that Abram told them at the time of his arrest that he had been buying heroin for 26,000 a kilo,
Mm,
2.2 pounds that he had been buying 8 kilograms twice a month for 2.5 years.
wow. That's deep. Well,
hmm
hey, does it say the name of their crew, what their crew was?
Um, no, no, not, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I wonder if it was that lynch mob because there was a big drug crew, like a drug dealing crew in Harlem called the Lynch Mob. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, they don't give no names because you got to understand that time, everything was still kind of new. The FBI was new, all that shit was new still.
Yeah, the yeah, it might have not even been the FBI. There probably wasn't even no FBI around then.
Oh yeah, it was federal court.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because I heard somebody was told me that the FBI only came around like around the time of the Black Panthers. I heard that they invented the FBI for the Black Panthers and the New York Mafia because they kept getting away with a lot of the cases and stuff with the regular police. I don't know how true that is or not. You know what I mean? But
Right.
that's what's told.
I'm trying to find a case on his dad because if his dad, um, they found that he's what got that case busted open, right?
Hmm
Then there should be a case on file for him.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
You know what I
Does,
mean?
hey, does it say what year Melvin Combs died?
Yeah, 1972.
Damn. So what year was Pete? What year was Diddy born? I wonder. 72.
Well, his dad was old. His dad was born in 1938.
Shit.
So his dad was almost old as my grandma. He would have been
All right, so shit. What year? I wonder what year P Diddy was born. I wonder because at 72, that was let's see.
69, because he was 3 years old. He was 3 years old when his dad died. His
Yeah,
dad died in 72. Simple math. He was born in 1969.
yeah. So yeah, that makes him three. That would have made him 3 years old. Damn. So his dad died at a young age.
Mm.
Yeah, that's deep, man. Do they have any information about Diddy's mom? I wonder if they have any information about Diddy's mom.
Uh, I ain't looked that up. You know they probably do.
Mm,
Let me
yeah,
see. I'm still trying to find that because that shit. It'll be in there because it's a court case.
that's gonna be a crazy case.
So
All
his
right.
mom's a retired. His mom's a retired teacher and a model.
Hmm. At the rate this case is going, right? We all right. Say, for instance, right? We looking at cases like the Young Thug case. I think that case is going on for what 3 or 4 years now, or something like that. Do you think that the P Diddy case will probably last longer than that? And
That nigga got some old ass parents. His mom's 83 years old, bro.
shit, he can't be no more than 53 years old.
Mm-mm. He's older than that, man.
P Diddy's mom.
She's 83 years old.
Hmm.
She's
That's a
83
lot.
years old, bro.
She
They
been
say he's
around for a
50.
minute.
He's 54.
And they,
His
they
parents
say
his parents had him late in life.
yeah, does it say the year that his father was born?
Yeah, 1938.
Oh yeah, he a old school gangster.
He didn't have him till later on in life.
Yeah, they might have already been like in their 30s already. I,
Yep.
I know the father had been at least 30 already, and
They
she
said he was 40. He was 40 something when he died, like 41, 42.
damn.
So
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's super
no, he
deep.
actually had to be younger than that. They said his dad was friends with Frank Lucas. He was his driver.
Oh, hold on, man. Cause I heard Frank Lucas' driver was Bumpy Johnson.
No, but he was before. Bumpy replaced his driver. Think about that. Think about that. His driver is the car that got blown up.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep. 'Cause I remember that they made a movie about they made a movie
American Gangsters.
about they made a movie
American
about
Gangsters
that.
and
American Gangster.
Hoodlums
Yeah.
and Hoodlums was Bumpy Johnson's story. But
Right.
okay, let's go to Hoodlums, right? Because that was my movie. Was Whisper was in there.
Yeah.
Let me see something real quick, man. Let me see something real quick. Because Hoodlums might have been they may be talking about his dad, bro.
I would think so too, man. Cause you got to think that these were around Bumpy Johnson's time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who else was around back then? Well, basically that movie. What was that movie you just said? That movie was basically
That was was Bumpy Johnson, the Queen. That was all about Harlem.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because his dad does look like Bumpy Johnson, bro.
Mm. Shit, maybe that was him.
Nah,
Yeah, that
because Bumpy Johnson got out of jail. Number rackets. I'm trying to figure out what year they shot that out of, man. 7 on film. No. Well, nah. It said it took place in the late 20s and the early 30s.
what year they say his father was born? Like 23?
No, 38.
38. So yeah, he wasn't around. But they say Bumpy Johnson was old, man. He was still still selling dope, man. He
No,
was
you
old.
know who Bumpy Johnson driver was Frank Lucas.
Frank Lucas, right? Okay. And
So
then
we
he
would have his dad would be in American Gangsters and not Hoodlums. Well, no, he would be in Hoodlums because that was his time period too.
right. Who they say that Foxy Brown may testify in the P Diddy and on P Diddy and on the Keefe D trial, and they may bring P Diddy P Diddy in on those charges too to be like for like hitman charges and shit. Like I believe, man, that the feds may have more information than we think. Think about it. They got hip hop cops. They had when they started hip hop cops, they started keeping up on a lot of recordings on the rappers. They were following them around everywhere, and they were pulling them over to make sure they don't have weapons in the car. They were basically getting a lot of footage on a lot of these rappers, East and West Coast. They even got their own department that takes inventory on the rappers and stuff when they go to certain towns. That's why a lot of them end up getting caught with weapons and stuff because the police are on them as soon as they get off the airport, as soon as the plane
Yeah,
lands.
they just took they just pulled Key Glock over, man, and took 2 pistols out of his glove box.
I seen that. I seen that. Yeah, I seen that footage on uh, Rex Rare's TV. It was clean footage too, man. Let's see. Hold on. Our Gene did reveal P Diddy father was a snitch and was murdered for. Let's see. And here's another one where they talk about his father. Let's see. Exposes why Diddy hasn't been arrested and revealed. All right, Diddy's dad got murdered. All right, here's another video where he talks about his father. Hold on. Yeah, you want to check this out real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. This is real life street stars, y'all.
Written confection that Puff father signed. So he said they brought him the tape and the written confection that Puff father signed. So I was like, yo. He said we gave him $10,000. It was a New York City cop. He worked for them. He said we gave him $10,000. Puff father said that he only told because he had a wedding to go to.
Mm. Real life. Man, that's the shit that gets to me right there.
Bro, you see that from who don't have money also. You know what I'm saying? So you see a lot of shit It is what it is. So, I have to ask you that because sometimes when you see like, let's say a puppy, you might have a manager who might be an enabler, like to help him get to her, like an R. Kelly, whoever. You have their bodyguards or security unit who might allow some things to take place. Might see it and just, hey, we're gonna just allow it because, hey, it's the essence. What was your mentality when it comes to the enablers or the people that allow, or just what, how did you approach a situation that you're like, I don't know about that? I don't know what you mean by that question. That was such a broad and asinine ass question that it's hard to answer something like that. Let me be more direct. Be direct, bro. Let me be more direct. Yeah. Were you an enabler, or did you allow or see stuff that you're like, man, I ain't gonna jump in that? Bro, go ahead. Criminals do crimes with criminals. I've never been a criminal. You understand what I'm saying? Gotcha. So now, if you're looking to answer something about Puff, Puff ain't the Puff. Puff had different phases of his life that y'all don't understand. And let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. You understand? First, you got Puff Daddy, who had Daddy's house and the parties and things like that. Then you had Puff. You understand? Then you had Diddy. Then you had Brother Love, and then Love. I had Puff around the stage when he was Puff Daddy and Puff and some of Diddy. Not the new Diddy that they gave the diddler and everything like that. The diddler. So he ain't the guy, he wasn't the guy that y'all see now back then when he was in Harlem. You understand? He was the guy that our crew chased down the street because he was trying to be a part of it, and he ran. You understand? We brought him back, beat the shit out of him, hit him in the head with cake spoon, with champagne, and all the other shit like that. He was wanted to be a part of us. He was the one who used to beg, don't go to the party, please, please, I'm on my way. I'm on my way, so he could walk in the club with us. You understand? So to answer that question, bro, you're not doing nothing that's gonna cost my livelihood. You understand? You're not gonna do anything in front of me to cost my livelihood. You understand? Now, have I seen some shit? I seen a dude come up in the club and blow somebody's head off. I see the smoke running through the crowd trying to get to the lights. You understand? At a New Year's Eve party. So now I see this guy laying on the ground with his head tore down to the white meat. Did I know who did it? No. Did somebody tell me it's about to happen? Yes, they did. Yo, Gene, somebody got a gun in here. No, they didn't. We searched everybody. He came through the back door of the kitchen. You understand? Yeah. Because it was a restaurant that was giving a party. The guy came through the back. I run and turn on the light. As soon as I hit the light switch, you see, pow, and the gun smoke. Dude ran. That's the kind of crazy shit we see. You see girls having sex in the bathroom. That's crazy shit. You grab them with the guys and you throw them out the club. You understand? Yeah. So it gets like that. Right. I have to ask real quick. Diddy's pops. I thought you there was this. You mentioned that as far as Diddy pops, his dad was murdered. Yes, sir. Yeah, that I didn't know. Did you know of his pop? I didn't know of his pop. I didn't know jack shit about his pops. I learned from his pop from one of the biggest gangsters in Harlem, New York Freddie. Right. The police said they went to New York Freddie's house in Mount Vernon, and he had stacks of $100 bills 6 feet high in the whole basement. That's how much money he had. Ooh-wee. He was the one who started Russell Simmons. They won't tell y'all this story. He was the one who started Russell Simmons and them into the music business because he had a record label first that Russell Simmons used to work for. So now, New York Freddie want to talk to Big Gene. One of his lieutenants back in the day, if you see his story, his name was Omar. Omar was our OG from 112th Street, 114th Street. They used to come around with us. They used to love the food I used to cook because I'm a hell of a cook. You know what I'm saying?
It did say in the thing I was reading 112th Street.
You know what I'm saying?
What happened?
I did see that the 10 that got caught up, they were from 112th Street.
Yeah. The 112th Street crew.
So they were from.
So now Omar said, "Yo, New York Freddie want to talk to you, G." And I told him, "Puff, he want to talk to Puff and tell Puff the real story about his father." So I said, "Yeah, all right." So I'm like, New York Freddie. I knew my history. I knew what.
Hey, ain't that crazy? The man that murdered your father want to look you in your eyes and tell you why they had your father
But what
murdered.
he said about Bumpy Johnson, rewind that back. He said,
All right, hold on.
New York Freddie was about. So I wanted Simmons and them into the music business, right? The police said they went to New York Freddie house in Mount Vernon, and he had stacks of $100 bills 6 feet high in the whole basement. That's how much money he had. He was the one who started Russell Simmons. They won't tell y'all this story. He was the one who started Russell Simmons and them into the music business because he had a record label first that Russell Simmons used to work for.
Mm.
So now New York Freddie want to talk to Big Gene. One of his lieutenants back in the day, if you see his story, his name was Omar. Omar was our OG from 112th Street, 114th Street. They used to come around with us. They used to love the food I used to cook because I'm a hell of a cook. You know what I'm saying? So now Omar said, "Yo, New York Freddie want to talk to you, G." And I told him he used to bodyguard Puff because he want to talk to Puff and tell Puff the real story about his father.
Hey, look and see if you see something about New York Freddie. See if you see anything about New York Freddie.
yeah.
I'm gonna let it play.
So I said, "Yeah, all right." So I'm like, New York Freddie. I knew my history. I knew what New York Freddie was about. So I went and took a meeting with New York Freddie. He said, New York Freddie said to me, he said, "Yo, man, I've been trying to get in touch with Puff, Russell Simmons. None of them would take my calls. It's all good." He said, "I want to tell Puff the true story about his father." I said, "You're all right, okay. You know what's up? You're gonna listen to those guys. You understand?" So New York Freddie said, Puff father sold some drugs to one of their undercover guys.
Mm.
You understand? They arrested him because they had cops on the payroll to, see what you about.
Damn,
He said they brought him the tape and the written confession that Puff father signed. So I was like, "Yo," he said, "We gave him $10,000. It was a New York City cop. He worked for them." He said, "We gave him $10,000. Puff father said that he only told because he had a wedding to go to," which I thought was hilarious. You understand? This is coming from New York Freddie. So he said that
That's crazy.
I wanted to talk to Puff, but he wouldn't take my calls. He wouldn't see me. He said, I wanted to let him know that I told the guy, y'all got to get rid of him. Y'all brought him in. Y'all got to get rid of him. So all these people talking about he worked for Frank Lucas. He worked for that part like that. He may have gotten some things from them or whatever, did some work. Nah, he worked with New York Freddie team. And New York Freddie told the dude to get rid of him. Now, if Puff Father was all that big of a gangster and he was all that and everything like that, why is he driving a cab? None of the gangsters in Harlem drove cabs. They drove Cadillacs, Rolls Royce, Mercedes, etc. You understand what I'm saying? So now, Puff Father get murked by the dude that brought him in. And New York Freddie said to me, he said, I want to let him know the dude that was crying at the hardest at the funeral, carrying the casket, was the one who killed him.
Yeah, niggas
So now, this is
play.
crazy to me, right? About a month ago, I told
They
that
went
story.
to the funeral to make sure that nigga was
right?
dead.
A young lady, a woman, who was dating Puff father, hit me on, which y'all DM me on the Instagram. She said, Big Gene. She said, thank you for telling my story.
Hey, look, I found something else, bro. It says, unveiling the tragic story of Melvin Combs, Diddy's father and Kingpin. Then there's another video right here. It says exclusive. Frank Lucas talks about Diddy's father. Man, they got a lot of stuff in here about that nigga. That dude, the Kingpin, Freddie Myers, and
I'm looking at this shit right now.
yeah. I'm gonna play this one right here where they talk about unveiling the tragic story of Melvin Combs, Diddy's father. Freddie Myers, New York Freddie exposes Frank Lucas. Oh yeah, they got a lot of shit about him. All right, Diddy was lying. I knew his father, Melvin Combs. Oh yeah, they got a lot of shit in here about that nigga. The tragic story of Melvin Combs. Damn, they got SCR Freddie Myers. New York Freddie speaks on Frank Lucas. All right, look, I'm gonna play this one right here. The unveiling the tragic story of Melvin Combs, Diddy's father, the Kingpin. All right, I'm gonna play this one right here real quick. See what they say.
Yeah.
There are those of you who know the truth. You know it deep within. Drug dealers anonymous. Jr. and mother Helen Combs. Melvin was well educated and he served in the United States Air Force. Once the Vietnam War ended in 1973, the soldiers didn't come home to any parades or jobs.
You was right. He was in the
Most
military.
soldiers was left unemployed, and some turned to the streets, which was exactly what
He was in
happened
the Air Force.
in this case. During this time, heroin was taking over the streets of Harlem, and you either sold or was a user. Melvin being a hustler, he became a drug dealer.
The
United States ain't doing nothing for us, man. We busted our ass. We went over there to an army to kill, and 99% of us got killed, and we didn't get nothing for it. They give us a piece of paper that says to us, we're a Vietnam veteran, and we can get disability, and we can get this, and we can get a job, and we ain't got nothing. He will hit the streets of Harlem, dealing heroin, and will start to make a name for himself. He was an associate of the notorious New York drug kingpin Nicky Barnes and was rumored to be Nicky Barnes' muscle and hitman. In 1972, Barnes formed a council, a 7-man organized crime syndicate that controlled a big part of the heroin trade in Harlem. Barnes led the council into an international drug trafficking ring in partnership with the Italian-American Mafia until his arrest in 1977. Barnes was sentenced to life in prison, but eventually became a federal informant that led to the collapse of the council in 1977. And he's putting people behind bars, helping to make cases for the feds. There is no justice in terms of that. Man. I mean, 8 years ago, Nick was a scum and earth in terms of court, being in the courtroom, and Judge Workers' Court. And then 3 years ago, he became Robin Hood because he was telling. Melvin was also friends with the notorious New York City drug kingpin, Frank Lucas.
Hold on.
Me and Melvin Combs were good friends. We were good friends. We did a lot of business together. Of course, it was not legal business, but we did a lot of business together.
Frank Lucas talking.
Frank Lucas operated in Harlem during the late 1960s and early 1970s. He was known for cutting out the middleman in the drug trade and buying his heroin directly from the source in the Golden Triangle in Southeast Asia. In 1976, Lucas was convicted of drug trafficking and sentenced to 70 years in prison, but he had his time reduced after becoming an informant. Denzel Washington portrayed Frank Lucas in his biofilm American Gangster, and Jay-Z did the soundtrack.
So Frank Lucas was a rat too.
Hey, so in that American Gangster movie, I wonder if there was somebody in that movie that portrayed Puff Daddy's father.
That's what I'm saying. The car blew up. I'm gonna have to watch that, bro, because
there was a part in there when the car blew up, huh?
I think there. Let me look that up. I was
It
just.
was. It was.
That's his dad then.
Had to be. Had to be. There was like a big part in there where somebody's car got blew up, bro. I remember that. I'm gonna watch that tonight too to see.
Frank Lucas is cool, but I ain't trying to snitch. I'ma follow the rules no matter how much time I'ma get. With friends like Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas, Melvin had to be heavy in those streets. But while in those streets, he would find love. He fell in love with Janice, who was a model and a teacher assistant.
That's P
The
Diddy
two would get
mom.
married, and they would welcome their first child, a baby girl, Keisha Combs. Even though Melvin was in those streets heavy, he was a family man, and he made sure his household was taken care of. Years later, they would welcome their second child, a baby boy, Sean Combs, born November 4th, 1969, who the world would get to know as P. Diddy. I told you that we won't stop till we back cruising through Harlem. 1972. He was only 33 years old, and P. Diddy was only 3. He was killed when I was 3 years old. I don't have like a lot of memories of my father. They say, you can't miss something you never had. That's all it was really like, these everyday times. I know that I miss my father. And, his presence not being there. And so I had to ask, like, family advice.
Man, this probably look just like
Just ask your father. Those are things that he was telling me, that would make you cry. Melvin's murder was never solved, but per Frank Lucas, the guy who killed Melvin, didn't last long on the streets, and he got what he deserved. I was trying to see what happened to him that shot the hell out of me. And the guy who did it, I'm glad he got what he got. After Melvin died, Janice left Harlem and moved to Mount Vernon, New York, to ensure her kids was brought up in a safe environment. Janice worked 3 jobs to
That's where
provide
Diddy
for her
started
2
hooking up
kids. Her hard work
with
paid
Heavy
off.
D. That's where Heavy
She
D
kept her
from.
kids on track, and P. Diddy would eventually attend Howard University. It was when he was at Howard he learned the truth about his dad. Growing up, his mom would tell him that his dad died in the car crash to protect him. Diddy always felt like there was more to the story, and he did some research on his dad. My world was changed here at Howard. On my second day of school, I learned something that would change the course of my life forever. I don't talk about this often. I was raised by a single mother in Harlem. My dad, Mr. Melvin Combs, died when I was 3 years old. My mother always told me that he died in a car accident. But something about that, it just didn't feel right. Something was in my soul that was telling me otherwise. So as soon as I got here, I went to the library and I did some research. I used the microfilm and founders to search through all the newspapers. And when I typed in my father's name and the day he died, I read in the Amsterdam News that he had been murdered and a drug deal gone bad. Right there in that library, I realized there's nothing greater than a mother's love and desire to protect her child. That hustle Melvin had for the streets, Diddy had that same hustle, but instead of using it in the streets, Diddy decided to use it in the music business. I decided to embrace the entrepreneurial spirit of my father, but in an honest way. God bless you, Melvin Combs. I could feel you right next to me. But in an honest way, in a legal way, by earning, scraping, working harder, believing in myself. Diddy would eventually start his own label, Bad Boys Records, and introduce the world to artists Faith Evans, Craig Mack, Mace, 112,
Shine, Black Rob, and the notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie Smalls. Some would say Biggie was the greatest rapper of all time, but his reign on top will be cut short. He will also suffer the same fate as Melvin, who was gunned down while sitting in the car. A star in the often brutal world of gangster rap has been gunned down. This time it was notorious B.I.G. ABC's Anderson Cooper has the story. The rapper known as Biggie Smalls was shot several times as he sat in his Chevy Suburban early this morning outside the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Smalls had been attending a party honoring winners of the Soul Train Music Awards, in which he made an appearance Friday night. What's up, Callie? After the shooting, Smalls was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Not getting to know his dad, did he still miss him? And he wanted to know more about his dad. So he reached out to one person who had that information and was once Melvin's friend. And that person was Frank Lucas. They wanted me to tell him about his father, so I come over there and I told him something about his father, but I didn't give him the whole story because it impressed me. He just asked me, "Can I just not told him, Cat, but if it impressed me, I would have told him the whole story." About his dad? Yeah, well, all I know, but I didn't do that because it impressed him. You know, if he act like he really wanted to know, but he act like it was just another thing, so I had to go. Right. Melvin was a true gangster and was well respected in the streets of Harlem. He did what he had to do to survive and provide for his family, which ended up costing him his life. To Melvin, the original King Combs, rest in peace.
That's the history on his father, y'all. So, what you think about that, Leaf? Like father, like son? Leaf. Yeah, that's a little background on where Puff Daddy came from, y'all. People would like to say like father, like son. So Diddy's father was supposedly a snitch, and supposedly he snitched on members from his crew to be able to get out and go to a wedding. He told because he wanted to go to a wedding, from what Gene Deal says. But all this week, I'm gonna be giving you guys a little background of where Diddy came from his beginnings. Him starting in a private school, um, at a school where kids were being molested, and the priest the priest was arrested for being caught molesting on kids at the school that Diddy went to, and I don't think he was even arrested for it. I think they sent him out of town somewhere and sent him to another country or something like that, and he continued to be a preacher at a different school, and he went on to live his life in some other country, and you know Diddy lived on to be the mogul that he is now. What he turned into, uh, producing plenty of summer '90s infamous rappers like Craig Mack, G. Dep, Mace, Notorious Big, Total, 112, Mary J. Blige, a host of rappers, the making the band, one, making the band two. There was a lot of rappers that came from under the Bad Boys umbrella, but we came on here tonight to show you, where Puff Daddy came from, where he got his genes from, you know what I'm saying, and where he learned a lot of his hustle from. It came definitely from the streets of Harlem. Came from his dad, who was a gangster and a drug dealing crew. You know what I mean? So yeah, he got most of his hustle from the streets. which he transformed into a lucrative um, production company, then into a record company. Um, and he did big things. It turned him into a billionaire. Um, he once owned Revolt, but I believe he sold his stocks to Revolt. He owned a liquor company. He owned Sean John, which was a clothing company. He was a CEO. He did big things. He definitely was a billionaire. But right now, they're putting him through the ringer. He's going through it, man. They got him on a chopping block. He's in federal prison. They say he's on suicide watch, and they're going to prosecute him. They denied his bail, and cases like this, they take a long time. Look at the Young Thug trial. Look at YNW Melly. This ain't going to be just something that's going to be over in a year. This might be longer than the Young Thug trial because there's a lot of witnesses that are going to be brought in to testify against him and testify on his behalf. So this is going to be a long trial. And this week, I'm going to be giving you guys like backgrounds on where Puffy came from, where he got his genes, where he got his hustle from, and, the many faces of P. Diddy. What made P. Diddy, what engineered P. Diddy, where he was bred from, and what gave him the hustle genes that he had. You know what I'm saying? This is part one of the masquerade of P. Diddy. The masquerade is now over. The parties are now over. So that's it, y'all. That's it for the night. I'll be back this week to speak more about P. Diddy and some of his past incidents that made him into what he is today. So good night, y'all. This is the end of my broadcast. Everybody, hit the like button if you can. Leave a comment, and I'll answer any questions that you guys have from what I know, if I can answer it. Good night. And y'all say good night to my boy Leaf. I think he might have fell asleep on me, but good night, y'all.